The Placing You First podcast begins in less than 20 seconds.
Visit crcgroup.com to subscribe, download our award-winning tools and intel articles that help you stay aware of emerging issues and trends, or get a snapshot of the insurance marketplace with our industry-leading Ready indexes. You'll find it all on crcgroup.com under Tools and Intel.
Welcome to a very special episode of Placing You First. Today, we're celebrating our 100th episode, and we couldn't think of a better way to mark the occasion than by bringing back our very first guest from 2019, Neil Kessler, now CEO of CRC Specialty and Benefits.
That's right. Neil helped launch this podcast 6 years ago, and so much has changed since then for CRC, for the industry, and for Neil himself. So today we're going to reflect on that journey, the challenges we faced, and the growth we've achieved, and talk about what the future looks like from Neil's point of view going forward.
So from navigating M&A and pandemics to building a stronger, smarter organization, we're diving into it all.
This is the Placing You First podcast from CRC Group.
This podcast features news and insights from a vast knowledge base of over 5,100 associates
who write more than $35 billion in premium annually.
Plus, we give you the latest information on what's happening at CRC.
This is the Placing You First podcast.
And now the hosts of the podcast, Amanda Knight and Scott Gordon.
Neil, welcome back to the show.
Well, thanks, guys. Scott, Amanda, it was great to be with you guys. It's really hard to believe it's been 100 episodes. I mean, 6 years. A lot has happened in these last 6 years.
It really has. So let's rewind just a little bit. Let's go all the way back to 2019. If you could give us one word or phrase to describe CRC then, the CRC of 2019, and one word to describe us now, what do you think you'd pick?
Yeah, good question. I think then probably a solid, now probably relentless. You know, back in 19, we were a strong business, solid foundation, great people, great client outcomes. But, you know, today we've really evolved into a relentless growth machine. There's simply more urgency, more agility, more of an ownership type culture. You know, we're not just reacting to the market, we're really shaping it today.
And this might be a little bit redundant there, but what's something that's changed dramatically and something that's probably stayed the same in a good way since 2019?
Yeah, since then, I'd say, you know, what's changed is probably our scale and independence. You know, we've grown massively, both organically and through M&A, and we've stepped out from under the bank ownership, which has given us a new level of agility. You know, we're also independent from any retail affiliation now, and that's huge. And it really reinforces our role as a true, unaffiliated, independent wholesale partner. And, you know, those are two things that have changed a lot for us. And what stayed the same is our culture, I'd say. You know, we before me kind of mindset, the drive to win for our clients, the willingness to hustle. That hasn't changed one bit.
Well, and this podcast is a little different because normally we talk about the industry in general and topics, and this is all about us, which is kind of interesting to talk about because we've all been with the company for a little while now, and we've seen these changes. So CRC's seen its fair change of curveballs over the years: COVID, rapid expansion, market shifts. So what stands out to you as one of the biggest challenges that CRC has navigated?
Yeah, I'd say it's the pandemic, probably no question. You know, shortly after we recorded that episode, things changed and we had to completely rethink how we worked, how we sold, how we collaborated, and we had to do it all overnight. But it also showed how adaptable and resilient our people are. And I think we came out of it stronger, more connected, and more creative than ever.
I know the pandemic, looking back, was 5 years ago now is when it started. And for some people and for a lot of folks, it feels like just yesterday. But pandemic or otherwise, how do you feel like Team CRC, our people and our culture really helped navigate and get through challenges like the pandemic?
Yeah, two things to me: grit and teamwork. You know, everyone leaned in. No one waited around to be told what to do. And across all of our businesses, people rallied and shared a mission to serve our clients no matter what. You know, it was a total team effort. And I think that's what helped us navigate that challenge. And will help us navigate challenges to come.
Looking back, what are you most proud of as a leader for CRC over these last 5 or 6 years?
Yeah, great question. There's a lot to be proud of. And I'd say probably the thing I'm the most proud of is really, something that we're still working on and still doing, which is, shifting our business, our mindset, our culture from kind of a bank employee to kind of an independent ownership model. And, for us, that culture shift is real and it's powerful. I mean, I believe that when people start thinking like owners, when they think like owners about growth, about ROI, about driving our business forward, everything changes. And I think our customers can really feel the difference. Owners move faster. Owners take more accountability. They look for ways to add even additional value every day. And that's really who we are now.
And speaking to CRC's people, who are a huge part of our story, is there any moment or achievement that really speaks to you about the strength of our team?
Yeah, I think what speaks to me about our people is our producer recruiting streak that we're on. We're adding talent at a record pace, and since 2019, since we had this podcast, we've added almost 500 new producers.
Wow.
That takes vision, leadership, trust, a whole lot of follow through. We're really focused on building that next generation of CRC. It's what's even better about that, in my opinion, is that most of those folks had options.
Right.
They could have gone to one of our competitors, but they chose to come to us. And I think that really says something. And for our customers, all of this means, more options, more producers means more talent, more creativity, more ways to help. As we grow, it really helps our clients win. It's a real win-win.
I always use on the podcast, I always use the baseball metaphor. I say, we've got a really deep bench at CRC, really deep. And they're all really good at what they do.
Yeah.
So let's shift gears to what's next. What do you think is next for CRC?
Yeah, to me, next is, more specialization, more data, more kind of like cross-business collaboration. Yeah, I think the future for us is about being faster and smarter and more integrated. And, we want to be the partner of choice for our agents and for our markets. I'm thinking a lot about tech and AI these days. Yes, some of it's overhyped, but we've got some pilots underway that are showing real promise. And those tools we build are going to help us, quote faster, uncover and deliver insights sooner, and really bring solutions to the market with an even greater speed. We've been ahead of the curve when it comes to data since we started capturing exposure and loss information back in 2016. And that was before it was trendy and before our competitors kind of joined the party. And now we've got more and even better data. So the next step is, how do we continue to evolve to help our clients win in new, different, and bigger ways?
Well, it sounds like we've got a lot of work to do. We've got some things in the pipeline. We've got a lot we need to do. But along with that work comes excitement, right? So what excites you the most about this next chapter of growth now that we are independent, now that we are a pure play wholesaler?
Yeah, for me, Amanda, what excites me most is that the playbook isn't written yet. That's what's so exciting. I mean, look back 6 years ago, who would have thought that this is where we'd be today?
Right.
We're really building something special, and everyone at the company has a chance to shape it. Our story's kind of just getting started. We're a 20-year-old plus startup in a lot of ways. And, so much has changed in 6 years. So much has changed in these last 18 months.
Right.
I just can't wait to see kind of what's next for us. That's what's most exciting to me.
Absolutely. Well, we're nearing everyone's favorite part of every episode, rapid fire. It's a lightning round where we ask a few quick questions and you answer with whatever pops into your head first. So are you ready?
I'm ready. Let's do it.
All right. What is something about your background that most people probably don't know?
Most people probably don't know that I was a TV news reporter. Not a weatherman.
Really?
Not a weatherman. That's a false rumor. But I was a TV news reporter. It was a long time ago, right when I was out of college. But it did help me a lot with communication and thinking on my feet. I then went to law school and worked in politics, and I've had really a lot of my career has taught me about how to build arguments and think critically. So, it's a strange combo now that I'm in insurance, but it works.
That explains a lot in a good way. That does explain a lot.
It sure does.
And I can see that tracks, Neil.
Oh, for sure.
So your next question is, what's something fun you want to check off your bucket list? Travel destination or an experience? A weird food?
For me, I've never been to Asia or Australia. I'd love to go there. Maybe a family trip over there, mix of some adventure and downtime. I hear those are great places to visit.
I don't know. I did see, this could have been fake news, but I feel like I saw that Australia has something called spider season. And I'm not sure that makes Australia for me. I think Australia might have to leave the bucket list.
Well, just go a different part of the year, not during spider season. I'm sure you can figure out when that is.
I'm pretty sure all the world's deadliest spiders, snakes, whatever, live in Australia. So you go and you let me know how it is.
Will do.
Okay, we've saved the best question for last. We know you travel a lot in your role for CRC. I mean, that may be an understatement, actually. What's the weirdest thing you've ever seen in an airport, or the weirdest experience you've ever had on an airplane or in an airport?
Well, honestly, and in a good way, I can tell you that most of it for the last 20 years, and I'm on the road every week in multiple cities, most of it has been pretty boring. I really haven't had anyone get kicked off a flight or do something crazy midair. You've seen the people that strip naked on the plane
Right.
or, get in a big fight. I haven't seen much of that. I've seen some celebrities over the years, but, probably the best story is one time I took the wrong suitcase. So, on Southwest, the plane stops and people get on, people get off, right? And then the plane goes on. Well, the plane stopped in Dallas and I got off the flight. I grabbed the suitcase at the top. I thought it was mine. Turns out it wasn't. It was a different person's suitcase. That person was actually just going on a trip. I was just getting home for a trip. So he got to he got to where he was going to open up his suitcase. And I don't think he was very happy.
Oh, no.
Yeah, it was a bit awkward, but, we sorted it out. I sent him some money for his troubles and he was a good sport about it all. But, I know they say all the time, bags all look alike. Check the tag. That is a good lesson in that.
That's a good piece of advice for all of us.
Wow. Yeah. Were you short your materials you needed? I'm sure you were put out.
Oh, no, I was coming home.
Oh, you were like,
for me, it was, I didn't really care. But the guy going out wasn't loving it. And we were definitely different sizes.
That's funny.
Oh, my God. Well, thanks for coming on, Neil. This was great. We have had you on for the first and now the 100th episode. I feel like we've come full circle.
Hard to believe.
And thank you to everyone who's listened to the Placing You First podcast over these 100 episodes. We're so proud of how far we've come and even more excited for what's ahead.
And if you enjoyed this episode, be sure to follow or subscribe wherever you listen and stay tuned for more stories, insights, and inspiration from across CRC. And we'll see you next time.
Are you ready to move faster and go further? Take your career to the next level. Join Team CRC to gain access to best-in-class tools, data, exclusive programs, and more. Send your resume to resumes@crcgroup.com and read testimonials from recent hires on LinkedIn.
Search for CRC Group.